Hi, my name is Abby. I've been here at HIR for about 40 days. I would just like to go over kind of the process since I've been here. It's been a roller coaster. Definitely challenging at times, but at other times it's really good, you know. It was a struggle to get here, but once I got here, it's been very enlightening, and I have to say that I'm very choosing HR was a huge blessing compared to other rehabs where you have a lot of people. Here it's more of an intimate setting, and you get more individualized therapy, which is nice because, you know, you don't pay the money to not try to heal yourself. You know, that wasn't good to say. But anyway, so, you know, at times it's frustrating because you feel like you're under a microscope, but really because of the intimate setting, you really get the care that you need, and I'm super grateful for that. We have all sorts of different kinds of therapy. One of my favorite, we did today, music therapy. I found, like, I'm a total spaz. I'm a personal trainer, I have a lot of energy, and I'm realizing since I've been here, I've had a drum set for a long time, and I have, through my addiction, I would just walk past it every day and I would never play it. And here you get a lot of time to figure out like who you are, and I figured I'm realizing that music is a huge thing for me. You know, music's the rhythm to life, and music's helped me get through this. And I'm finding out that drums is kind of a way for me to try to channel my energy. I tried to practice the ukulele, but my hands are small, so. But it was really cool in music therapy today. We got to express ourselves in a really artistic manner, and I love that. I think that's really healing. We also did art therapy. Normally I don't like doing art because I don't think I'm very good at it, but it was funny because I actually really enjoyed it. I discovered I didn't want to stop, you know, time was up and I had to stop, which is funny, I felt like a kid. But I'm finding out all sorts of things about myself that I didn't know was there. You know, I'm kind of uncovering or peeling the onion, if you will. And really that's what this whole process is. I'm here for 3 months, so I'm about halfway through, and it's crazy because when I first got here, it was frustrating because every day felt like it took forever, and now it's like I'm halfway through, and it's crazy because it doesn't feel like it's been that long. I've come a long way, I feel like. Still have a long way to go, but I'm figuring out what my goals are, who I am as a person, and spiritually what I believe in, and it's just fascinating because I didn't know my brain was as creative as it is. You know, I definitely messed things up for a while there, and I'm just grateful. I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful that I've taken this time before it was too late, you know, and that's one message I would like to say for anybody who is struggling. Just ask yourself, you know, if what is a few months out of your life so that you can start living a better life, you know. I owe my life to this place, really, and I would just like to also let you guys know about like what other therapies we do. We do like group therapy, we do individual therapy, we do EMDR, which is basically a process in which you take a traumatic memory, which I believe that my traumatic memories are the core to my addiction, and I feel like those negative feelings or whatever traumatic memory I have stored in my brain, that's what's triggered me to use. And EMDR, what the process is behind that is you take that memory and you kind of, they use, I forget what it is, but I'm not a doctor or anything, but basically they move the memory to where it's in a neutral spot where it's not so scary anymore, and you learn how to handle situations, and therapy is huge. You know, I mentioned before, I wish I could just be put asleep and wake up and have it all, my brain be wired differently, and that's not the way it goes. You have to have therapy, you have to dig deep and figure out what the core issues are, and I'm now realizing that.
So what we do with EMDR, it's an evidence-based therapy, and what it does is it takes that traumatic memory and desensitizes it and reprocesses it so it no longer has an impact upon a person's present.
But we also have equine therapy with horses. That's awesome. Really, really, it's kind of cool actually. I love animals, so every time we go do that, it's like, it's always a different experience, but it's so awesome. You learn a lot within yourself, you know, and depending on the people in the group, you learn a lot about other people. You know, if you get a type A personality who doesn't deal with animals very often, you know, they want to have the animal do what they want them to do, and the animal won't do it. And so the frustration there, you learn a lot about yourself. That's not me. I somehow have a way with animals, not to toot my horn or anything, but yeah, I just love animals. But with dolphin therapy, that was something that was really very, very spiritual. I can't wait to do that again. I actually had a hard time breathing at first when I got in the water, and that was really frustrating to me because I've always loved the ocean and never had a hard time snorkeling. You know, it's not really difficult, but I was having a hard time, and I think that showed a lot about myself, you know, because I thought I could handle it, and then all of a sudden what my problem was is that I couldn't slow down, and that's something I've totally had to learn since I've been here, is how to slow down and look within yourself. And the second I got my breathing down and figured out the rhythm of the ocean, you know, I was able to breathe calmly, and it was crazy. I looked underneath the ocean and it was so beautiful. There were so many dolphins. It was so cool, and I could hear them. It was amazing. I didn't want to lift my head up. I wish I could just like stay there forever, you know. It was a very, very happy time. Beautiful memory, and making a lot of those since I've been here. I made a lot of friends. I have a lot of support here, and I feel like that's huge. I actually came from Maui. That's where home is for me, and that's also where a lot of negativity and bad is for me, you know? So it's like, it was really hard for me to figure out. I think I need to make the step to move over here just for the support, because staying sober is such a huge, it is my number one thing right now. There's no other way for me to live my life. I have to stay sober, you know? Wasn't living my life before, and making the step to move over here, that's my next step. That's something that was hard for me to admit to, but I need the support, and this is where it's at. So I'm super grateful for everybody here. Another favorite thing that we do is acupuncture. Dan, the guy here that does it, he's amazing, super spiritual and awesome, very calming. There's a lot of times where I've had stomach issues, and he's poked me with needles and got it all in the right place to where right when he's done, I feel amazing, you know. It's crazy how that works. I still don't understand it, but I just know how I feel afterwards, and he is really amazing at what he does. And we also do Reiki. I remember the first time I did Reiki here, Lita, excuse me, had said she had put her hands over my head, and she said that her heart started to race, and I thought that was kind of funny. Not necessarily funny, it made a lot of sense because I have a lot going on up here and a lot of energy there, and you know, it's they do different styles of therapy here, and it really opened my eyes to all the different stuff that's out there, and I'm really interested now in a lot of different forms of healing, and I'll probably continue doing that when I leave here, whether it be massage or all of the above. I wish I could, but my plan when I leave here is to, you know, build my support. I'm going to keep my sponsor and keep going to meetings. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at spiritually, and kind of like, you know, I have this whole thing. I'm trying to figure out my purpose in life, and I just feel like, you know, when you start feeling good and you start living life, when you're sober, it's like you start seeing things that you never noticed, and life becomes beautiful, you know. And I don't ever want to go back to where I was. Life now, being sober, I'm seeing things differently, and, you know, really living life to the fullest. And, you know, you are in a confined space, you're being protected, you know, you're kind of like in rehab. So, you know, there's certain limitations to things, but the cool thing is with the transition, we have my case manager. She's awesome. She helps you get situated in living in the real world, and I definitely need that, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm not afraid. I feel like I'm getting closer. Every day I get closer, and I'm prepared to start living my life, and I really want to see what life has to offer in a sober mind, and I never want to go back.
Abby tells her story here at HIR of recognizing the importance of dealing with core issues, things from her past that were traumatic. And traumatic means that they're stored differently from other memories. They still retain the emotion that occurred when they originally occurred. And if those traumas are still there, they will tend to funnel into a person's present experience, and they will experience things at a heightened level. So everything becomes more intense, more uncomfortable. And it begins to make sense why a person uses substance or some other addiction to get away from that chronic uncomfortability. Many times experiences anxiety. Depression that people have is often secondary to the anxiety. Having anxiety continually causes some depression also. The types of traumas that people typically come into HIR with are having some abuse in their past, abuse or neglect, attachment and abandonment issues, and other types of traumas that just overwhelm their capacity to be able to deal with it as children. We at HIR are able to handle and deal with and finish off those core issues, those traumas that so affect a person's ability to be successful in their addiction recovery.